out in Mosingishu saying that they are on antidepressants each and every day, yet people don't understand their grievances. Just the other day that we've seen increased number of suicidal activities. It's just the other day that we're seeing increased number of deaths through love triangles and such issues. It's just the other day that the clergy were also advocating for the youth to get married using viral means. Seen and we're tired of seeing. It's now time to talk. Welcome to the Youthful Arena, where I will be your host. If you wish to be part and parcel of our daily panels, this will be a weekly episode, so we'll be having different faces in the panel each and every time. If you so wish to be one of us in the arena, kindly contact us through the number displaying on the screen, and we will reach back to you in good time. May God bless you even as you prepare to join us in the Youthful Arena.
Akahubiri amani kwenu ninyi mliokuwa mbali, amani hata kwa wale waliokuwa gizani, maana kwake sisi sote tumepata njia kukaribia Mungu katika roho moja. Basi tangu sasa nyinyi si wageni wala wapitaji, bali nyinyi wenyeji pamoja na watakatifu, watu wa nyumbani mwake. Akaja akahubiri amani kwenu ninyi mliokuwa mbali, amani hata kwa wale waliokuwa gizani, maana kwake sisi sote tumepata njia kukaribia Mungu katika roho moja. Basi tangu sasa nyinyi si wageni wala wapitaji, bali ninyi wenyeji pamoja na watakatifu, watu wa nyumbani mwake. Basi msikate tamaa kwa sababu ya dhiki zangu, naenda kuwaandalia makao kule juu mbinguni, ili mahali alipo Baba yetu asijuwepo pale. Basi msikate tamaa kwa sababu ya dhiki zangu, naenda kuwaandalia makao kule juu mbinguni, ili mahali alipo Baba yetu asijuwepo pale. Wala si kwa matendo mtu awa yeyote asije akajisifu, maana tu kazi yake tumeumbwa katika Kristo tuyatende mema ambayo awali Mungu aliyatengeneza ili tuenende nayo, hata wakati tulipokuwa wafu sababu ya dhambi, alituungisha pamoja naye, yani tumeokolewa kwa neema. Wala si kwa matendo mtu awa yeyote asije akajisifu, maana tu kazi yake tumeumbwa katika Kristo tuyatende mema ambayo awali Mungu aliyatengeneza ili tuenende nayo, hata wakati tulipokuwa wafu sababu ya dhambi, alituungisha pamoja naye, yani tumeokolewa kwa neema. Basi msikate tamaa kwa sababu ya dhiki zangu, naenda kuwaandalia makao kule juu mbinguni, ili mahali alipo Baba yetu asijuwepo pale.
Well, karibu sana. I'm your host, Nyarige Jr. here, and today is yet another new segment of our first episode of the Youthful Arena. Today I'll apologize for having no panel because it's our first time in the show, and we want to set a basis for whatever we will be discussing sequentially starting today. And I'm happy and obliged to have you here today, even as we begin now. The biggest question is, what does it call to be a real man? And what does it call to be a real woman? Many say that being a real man is an attribute, and others say being a real woman is a virtue. But now, does it call for a young man to have 100 girlfriends for him to be a real man? Similarly, does it cost anything, or does it add any value for a young woman to have 1,000 boyfriends and affiliates in matters affection for that lady to be a real woman? And I'll just want us to have some little scripture. It's good for your health, some little scripture that I'll refer back to the book of Genesis. Even when God was creating Adam, God had a plan, and God created a human being, a perfect man, a man that was meant to be a real man. And Adam, from the word go, starts to behave like a real man from the Garden of Eden. Look, in Genesis 2, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 22. Previously, before that text, you will see that God took Adam's rib and prepared another creature, formed up another creature, another beautiful creature that was meant to be a real woman, meant to be an helper to this man. Now, and Adam said, this is verse 23, I'll begin from verse 22, that says, and the rib, now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, she shall be called a woman, because the woman was taken from a man. I'll stop it at that point. Adam behaves as a real man from that point. Adam just looks at Eve and begins to think of a very powerful creature that God has brought to him. He is admiring the beauty of the woman even before the woman speaks anything to him. And this happens even to the man right now. A man will lust, a man will admire a lady even before hajaongea na yeye, and that is why utapata mtu anasema msichana mrembo lakini hana akili. Msichana mrembo lakini appetite ya nani? Ya fundi. Mambo inatokea hapo, mambo inachemkia hapo. Adam looked at Eve and imagined of a very powerful lady that will assist him to perform the duties that God had given him. Now, back to the question, who is a real man and who is a real woman? A real man. Allow me begin this from a real man, because a man is meant to give direction to a woman. So you cannot be a real woman if the man you have is not a real man. One must be playing the other man, and this is where we get it wrong. I'll come out clean and tell us, men, this is where we get it wrong. That even when God decided to make a helper for Adam, Adam was forced by nature to accept that whatever has been brought to him, one is beautiful. And he never went to look for another alternative. That which came is that which he accepted to have. Now, how does it translate that the attributes of a real man? I was talking to some lady someday, and she was telling me a real man is someone who provides. A real man is someone who's caring. A real man is someone who can take you out. A real man, nonsense. A real man is someone that fears the Lord. And that is the bottom line. If there is the fear of the Lord, this man must be productive. If there is the fear of the Lord, this man must be serious. If there is the fear of the Lord, this man must be respectful. If there is the fear of the Lord, this man must be industrious, because the attributes and the responsibilities given to the man by God were very clear. One, he should be hardworking so that the environment around Eden was pleasant. The animals around Eden were catered for. The fruits around Eden were catered for. The trees were pruned. And the responsibility added to him was to take care of the wife given to him. Now, in your daily relationships, I don't know how it translates, and I don't know how it hits you, because this is where we now find the game of besties coming in. This is now where we find the game of side chicks and side men, or whatever you call them, coming in. Why are we not satisfied with the real men and real women that God has granted us? Why do we still think that we need more than that which we have? Why do we always have an option of transferring the hierarchy, that this one is not better than this one? Why should we have a variety of tests? Real men and real women. I will stop it at that point, because I know we as young people have different views on this fact. We have different inputs on this fact, and that is why we've brought up a platform that will assist us to understand what does this entail. What do our young men and young women require from each other so that they can be perfect in their relationships? Why are we not having successful endings in things that we saw working out? Why do we have always blemishes in even the best applicable means of relating with others? This is the point. I want to welcome us all. I won't exhaust it at that point. My bottom line in the introduction is God created, and he had a purpose of having a perfect man and a perfect woman joining together to form a perfect family that will bring up perfect generations in future. But now, why do we always have to make decisions and judge people and see that this one is better than the other? Why should we have msichana mrembo bila akili? Why should we have young men that ladies look at and anasema yule ni mtoto wangu? It is now alarming, because people are not getting married, and pastors are everywhere claiming and making seminars for young men without even addressing the issue. Why should you call young men and young women for seminars, yet you're not addressing the point? The point is, where are our perfect matches? Where are these perfect people that God intends to have for his children and family on earth? That is claiming their lives. Why should we always mourn? Why should we always cry? Why should we always lose people? It is alarming, and this is the point. I welcome us all once again to BDNG, the Youthful Arena, where we will be addressing these issues. Hapa ni mambo kuchemka. Wanadada mtatuambia ni nini mtaki? Why do you look at us and see that we are not perfect for marrying you? Why do our young men look at you and say, hii ni ya kufanyia ile kitu na kuangusha? Why don't we accept each other and bring up something solid? We want to have very perfect and very powerful stories of love and Mary and Cherry, even as we go on forth. Welcome once again, because God had a purpose, and he had a purpose in making you who you are. And remember, you've always been perfect and perfectly set aside for someone special. But why is that someone special not coming your way, and you keep on meeting the wrong people in your life? You keep on meeting people who lie to you. You keep on meeting people who misuse you. You keep on meeting with people who drain you. This is the place. Same time, same place. God bless. Bye-bye. Nyarige here.
tulipokuwa gizani, maana kwake sisi sote tumepata njia kumkaribia Mungu katika roho moja. Basi tangu sasa ninyi si wageni wala wapitaji, bali ninyi ni wenyeji pamoja na